The markers are enigmatic double-helix shaped obelisks of extra-terrestrial origin. Their purpose is to reproduce through intelligent civilizations and create necromorphs until a convergence event is triggered, forming a brethren moon. Two types of markers are known to exist: black markers and red markers. Black markers originate from extra-planetary sources, travelling through space until they impact a suitable planet which harbours life. After planetfall, the black marker will emit a DNA-altering electromagnetic signal which forces the most intelligent species present to evolve into sentient beings. Once the beings reach a certain point technologically, the black marker will reveal itself by emitting its signal, which will appear to be a source of unlimited energy. It will influence them into creating copies of itself and spread them throughout their territory. These artificial copies are the red markers. Once a red marker has been constructed, it will begin to influence the minds of those who made it, making them crazy and violent and turning the dead into necromorphs. In the case of humans, they began to worship the markers as a sign of God and began a religion called unitology. The marker signal causes depression and a form of dementia in most living beings it comes into contact with. It is believed that the ultimate source of this signal is the brethren moons, with the markers merely rebroadcasting it. Through this signal, the markers are able to communicate with each other across incredible distances, as it was observed that the red markers on Aegis 7, Aspera and Cremar were able to coordinate and act as one despite being separated by several star systems. The intensity of the signal depends on the state of the marker, which displays a sentient ability to control what it transmits and create different effects. However, it is unknown if the artifact itself is sentient or if the intelligence demonstrated is the result of the brethren moons speaking through it. When a marker goes through a state change, the signal will manifest a powerful EMP blast. Additionally, it can be strengthened by the presence of certain catalysts. For example, marker 2A was able to sharpen its signal after coming into contact with Istvan Sato, whose brain was deemed highly compatible, while marker 3A was able to strengthen its pulses and relay orders to the Aegis 7 hive mind through an amplifying pedestal. In most of those affected, the marker's dementia manifests itself in the form of hallucinations that drive the victim into a state of paranoia and compel them to carry out homicidal or suicidal actions to prepare for the coming necromorph infection. To certain individuals whose DNA is deemed more compatible with the marker signal, such as in the case of Istvan Sato and Isaac Clarke, the dementia instead reveals codes and blueprints for the creation of new markers, and its hallucinations are more sophisticated, guiding these individuals to perform more complex tasks to further the marker's agenda. The implantation of a marker's codes in the minds of suitable hosts is considered a priority to ensure that new markers are constructed and able to bring about a convergence event. Some individuals would receive different types of knowledge instead of marker blueprints, like Chalice Mercer, whose contact with the signal gave him knowledge which he used to perform his experiments, and would eventually lead to the creation of the Hunter. Once enough corpses have been created around the marker's area of influence, the signal begins its next stage, which is the Necromorph contagion. This contagion's genetic code is written in an alien language on the markers themselves. The signal reanimates dead bodies, which are then twisted into nightmarish monstrous creatures that are built for the purpose of killing and infecting other living organisms. This infection occurs not only with the black marker, but also where the duplicate markers have spread. The resulting creatures are structurally sustained by the marker's carrier wave, and all of the necromorphs will fall into an inanimate sludge should the marker be destroyed and the signal stop being transmitted. While the markers do not directly control the actions of the necromorphs, which behave as little more than animals with a drive to gather biomass, they can seemingly send out general commands to the creatures through their pulses. During large-scale outbreaks, the necromorphs are controlled telepathically by a form known as a nexus organism or hive mind, which acts as a conduit for the marker signal, serving as the artifact's second in command and answering directly to it. Additionally, the signal creates a dead space around the marker that keeps the Necromorphs from approaching it. This ensures that the infection does not grow over it and allows the marker to protect individuals of interest to its plans by drawing them to its base. When the Necromorphs become numerous enough, they gather around the marker as it prepares for the ultimate state of convergence. During this event, the marker begins to pull every single Necromorph in towards itself along with the planet's biosphere, merging all the biomass and planetary fragments together with the original marker, creating a new brother moon. The moon then feeds off the remaining life on the planet. When it is done, it joins its kin in a chain network signal. Convergence events have happened many times to countless other civilizations throughout space, and each brother moon represents a planet and species that has fallen victim to the markers. Around 2 million years ago, another black marker was found by the alien inhabitants of an aquatic planet known as Volantis, who harvested its energy and created copies. These markers then released the Necromorph contagion among the species, eventually activating a convergence event. Just before the event, the remaining living aliens realised what was happening and built a machine that would freeze their entire planet and the moon with it, halting the convergence. This would in turn wipe out the Tau Volantians, but they would save countless other worlds from falling victim to the Necromorphs like they did. Since the event, the moon had been frozen along with Tau Volantis but was still alive, and called out via the other markers out there to make it whole and turn it off, trying to lure another species to Tau Volantis to turn off the machine and resume the convergence. This eventually worked, and the unitologist leader Jacob Danik deactivated the machine, resuming the convergence, but not before Isaac Clarke completed the machine and sent the moon crashing down to Tau Volantis. However, this action awoke the other Brethren moons and set them on a course to Earth. 65 million years ago, the Earth black marker arrived via the asteroid which caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, leading to the rise of mankind. In 2214, a research team led by Michael Altman discovered the black marker and recovered it from a flooded crater off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. After doing so, it began a necromorph infestation. Altman's mysterious death and his work with the black marker ironically made him a martyr and figurehead of a newly formed religion, the Church of Unitology. By 2311, using the research, the sovereign colonies wished to study and use the markers as a source of energy. They eventually built 3 red markers, which were located on the classified distant planets of Aspera, Crema, and Aegis 7. However, outbreaks commenced around the facilities, and after discovering what happened on Tau Volantis and the threat the markers posed to humanity, the research was shut down and their existence covered up, erasing any knowledge of the markers. By the 25th century, overpopulation and resource shortages forced humanity to go into deep space mining. In 2508, the CEC mining company rediscovered Aegis 7 as a planet rich in natural resources, and illegally entered the restricted Aegis system to mine it. The USG Ishimura, under the command of Captain Benjamin Mathias, was sent to Aegis 7 and soon unearthed the red marker, causing a necromorph infestation in the planetside colony, which then spread to the Ishimura itself. After the USG Kellyan crew arrived at the Ishimura, Isaac Clarke's objective began returning the marker to the planet in order to contain the necromorph hive mind. However, it soon became apparent that he was being used by the red marker as it imprinted its blueprints in his brain. Isaac Clarke, along with Nolan Stross, was brought to Titan Station to revive the marker program, now run by EarthGov, creating the Site-12 marker. It resulted in another outbreak and the start of a convergence event, but Isaac and Ellie Langford stopped it. Unfortunately, the markers had spread to nearly every major colony due to EarthGov's replication program. Seeing this as a violation, a radical unitologist group known as the Circle began unleashing the markers among the colonies, spreading the necromorphs to cause a universal convergence. After Isaac Clarke, Ellie Langford, and John Carver uncovered Serrano's work on Tau Volantis, they completed the alien machine and killed the moon orbiting Tau Volantis. Ellie returned to Earth believing Isaac and Carver died. However, they both survived, and their actions with the moon awoke all of its brothers, which came to Earth in order to consume all its biomass. Markers are very durable, and even if they are destroyed physically, the fragments will continue to emit the signal, but there are still ways to permanently destroy a marker. First, by battling and defeating its influence within a person's own mind. Isaac first demonstrated this with the Site 12 marker. And they can also be destroyed by an extremely high temperature, such as throwing it into a star or a ship's reactor. The resulting energy surge will obliterate the artifact entirely. All currently known markers include the Earth Black marker, Marker 1A on Cremar in the Proxima Centauri system, Marker 2A on Aspera in the Gliese 581 system, Marker 3A on the Aegis 7 in the Aegis system, the Site 12 marker on Titan, multiple red markers found in the Sprawls government sector, a white marker is seen in one of Carrie Norton's hallucinations, the lunar marker on Earth's moon, Marker Shroud 4 on Uxor, 3 red markers on Ptolemy Station, 2 red markers in the cargo hold of the CMS Terra Nova, a red marker on the CMS Brusilov, a red marker found underneath the SCAF base in marker containment, and hundreds if not thousands of red markers seen on the surface of Tau Volantis created by the aliens. So that was all about the markers from Dead Space. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please consider leaving a like and a super thanks, or become a channel member to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.